For this review we look at the latest version of the Liebherr LTM 1350 mobile crane. This particular version has been commissioned from WSI by Heavy Transport Models, and it's a limited edition in the colours of the German crane hire company H.N.Krane. First out of the box is the standard assembly manual, and it's got simple line diagrams which are good enough, and it also covers the fixed fly jib, but that's not included with this model. Let's move on and take a look in the box, and the first thing we have to do is to slit the factory sealing tape that's been applied, and we see the parts packed tightly inside. To start with, we'll just get the crane ready for the road, and the first thing to do is to take the thread off of the winch drum, and then we'll run that up to the boom head where we can attach the hook. This model has a nice system for fixing the tie off. You just make a big knot in the end and feed it into the shackle, and in that way it works just like the real crane. So here we've just put the single pulley hook on, and then we can add the hook onto the loop at the front. Once the hook's in place, there's only one more thing to do, and that's to fit the handrails at the back. 2 versions are supplied, and we'll fit the folded down transport versions. With the crane ready for the road, we can then add some other models in the H.N.Krane livery, and it forms a nice little display. As is customary, we'll start underneath, and the chassis is very detailed. And if we go up close, you can see how intricate the suspension and transmission is. A really nice detail is the wheels, which are different for driven and non-driven axles. And the tyres have Michelin realistically embossed in the sidewalls. The driving cab looks really smart in this colour scheme. It's well detailed, and there's a realistic number plate. Behind the cab, the detailing is very good with a mesh grille and tiny graphics. And looking at the back, there are rubber skirts over the wheels, and there are more tiny graphics, including on the outrigger posts. The cab is very detailed, and it includes Liebherr on the seat back, and there are some tiny graphics on the control consoles. The body has got some more fine detailing, and the graphics are really sharp. The counterweight blocks and luffing gear are also modelled really well, and a very nice aspect of this model is that the main boom ram has a jacket that's made of metal. Another nice detail is the spooling drums, which can be rotated. The Y-guy arrangement is also highly detailed and looks good in the colour scheme. And the main boom sections are made of thin wall metal, and there's graphics on every section. The only slight negative is the plastic Y-guy connectors, which are a little off colour. Once again, we're starting underneath, and there's steering on each axle, although it is a little bit on the loose side. The other feature on the chassis is that there's fully working suspension, and that works well. Enough of being upside down, let's get the right way up and drive the model along. And it does roll along in a straight line, but some of the axles hesitate a bit because they're a little bit loose, and so they tend to turn. However, one thing you can certainly do is to set the steering and pose it well, so it will look alright on display. Okay then, let's try it turning and see how we get along. And actually, it's not too bad. The setting up of the crane has been covered in detail before in previous videos, so let's now sit back and watch it set up. One thing we should now do is to swap the handrails from the transport mode to the operational mode, and this is a reasonable modelling compromise. It would certainly be tough to make working foldable handrails in this scale. To fit the counterweight tray, you just offer it up and it hangs over some pins at the top, and because it carries a heavy weight, you secure it in position with a couple of steel pins. And if you're really strong, you can then load up the counterweight blocks, and we're talking 140 tons here, just lifted by fingers. Phew! The main boom ram works really well on this model. It's secured in place with a little grub screw, and an Allen key is supplied with which you can lock and unlock it. You just need to make sure that the screw is done up reasonably tightly. Let's now move up and take a look at the functionality of the boom. And the individual sections all slide very smoothly. And one thing you may notice here is that they're locking in place before fully extending. And that's because there's a worthwhile improvement on this model. There are now boom locking positions at the 46%, 92% and 100% positions. It works very well and it enables realistic poses to be set. The model also features a fully working Y-guy arrangement which can either be added or removed. One of the other features on the model is the tilting cab. That works well and it holds the pose nicely. And there's also an extendable access platform which pulls out from underneath the cab. Of course, this is a crane model, so the other feature that is important is that it's got a working hook. And there's enough friction in the winch drum to be able to hold a moderate load. Whilst we're talking about hooks, this is the larger hook block that's also supplied with the model. And it's a very nice metal part with metal pulleys. And it's also got safety catches on the hooks, but they are not functional. With the crane fully erected, let's pull out the tape and check the height. And it reaches about 55 inches or 140 centimetres. The first version of this model appeared in 2012, but with this latest version it's really come of age. The overall manufacturing quality is very good and the detail level is very high. It's also been improved by the inclusion of the additional boom locking positions. Overall it looks great in this colour scheme and it's an outstanding crane model.